or blanket, anything that can keep you elevated so that you're just slightly in front of your sitting bones. Start your watches if you need to. And just place your hands either on top of your knees with the palms down or on top of your knees with the palms up. And if you'd like to take your first two fingers together to touch and just come into some quiet and peace right now. So we've had a lot going on, needless to say. Our minds are scattered, our thoughts are scattered all over the place, and our emotions are high. So take this hour to completely let go of all the stuff, the white noise, the stuff that's going on around us, and practice your yoga. Whether that means you sit here and breathe and do nothing else, or you move and flow. So as you sit here peacefully, quietly in this soft meditative state, just think about lifting your heart, dropping your shoulders, lifting the crown of the head to the sky, and being open and receptive to the practice today. Not judging. Nobody cares what you're doing, what you look like. It's only that you care. And just take your ego out of it and just practice with your heart. So let's set that intention for your practice this morning. And on the next inhaling breath, you can keep your eyes closed. Bring your hands in prayer to your heart center. Touch the thumbs to your heart. And keep in mind that, again, this practice is solely for you. So if you need to take a break, sit down, or it's power that you want, go for it, more push-ups. Anything that you feel speaks to you today. Seal your intention to your third eye. Touch the thumbs at the space between the two brows. Maybe gently drop your chin down towards your collarbones. Just find some length in the cervical spine. And then take that beautiful color that Jane found in her yoga mat, that violet color, and raise it up to the top of the sky. Bring your arms up overhead. Open up your eyes. And then spread your arms open, spread your fingers, drop your shoulders. Keeping your arms in the air, just rotate your torso. It doesn't have to be a lot, just enough to make a little bit of subtle movements. Now take your right arm behind you, raise up onto your fingertips, and lean slightly back with your torso. Keep your shoulders open, chest open. One more breath here. Gives you a little bit more lift with that press of the right hand. Inhale, the arms both come up overhead. Exhale, open the arms just a little bit wider. Keep your heart open and twist to your left side. Keep your hips down. I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. I can tell you in 40 years it's about the third time I've ever sneezed in a class. Left arm down, right arm up, and lean back. Try to just lift with your left hand and rotate with your torso. One more breath. Inhale, rise back up, arms overhead. Exhale, spread the arms a little bit wider, drop the shoulders. And now hug yourself, right arm over left, left arm behind. Try to reach, some of you will reach your fingertips together, maybe you'll get to your shoulder blades, and maybe it's less. And the same thing, keeping the arms closed over each other, twist to your right side. Just feel the movement out of the torso, keep the hips grounded. Inhale back to center, open the arms. Remember which arm was on top. Maybe it's the left arm over now. And now you might feel, as I do, I feel a little bit more stagnant in this side, a little bit shorter. Lengthen your spine, inhale, and twist. So you just notice those things. It doesn't make a big difference in your life. It just is a change, it's something different. Come back to center on the inhale, open your arms wide. This time bring the arms both behind you, lean back, shake out your legs, and switch the cross of your legs. And lift up the flesh from underneath you. Place your hands on top of your thighs. This time palms are down. We're going to do some cat-cows and some circles here. So bring your chin to your chest, round and curl your spine, pull the belly in. Inhale, lift your heart up. Lean a little bit forward, but keep your hips on the floor. And then start to make circles to the right. And if you went in the other direction, so what? Just keep moving. And then reverse directions. And then come back to center. Let's do a couple more cat-cows right here. So pull the belly in, roll away from your sitting bones. Inhale, pull your heart through, roll forward. And do that a couple more times. Just pull back and lift your heart forward. Let's do that one more time. Round your spine. Come up and forward. And then wherever you are, I'm just going to have to move a little bit. Just shift over your legs and come to your hands and knees and stretch out your legs behind you. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes underneath you, and spin your fingers back towards your knees so you get a nice release in the front of the wrists. Heart is open, bring your collarbones through. So remember, this is your practice. I want you to do what feels right to you. So here, if it feels good, release your toes and maybe do a couple cat-cows here. As we begin to flow a little bit more, any modifications you need, if I don't offer them, and if you're not sure, let me know, but if you need to make modifications, I always encourage that. And again, if you want to go further and deeper, that's up to you as well. Round your spine here. Keep the spine rounded as you turn your fingers forward one more time. Drop the belly, arch back, and push back to child's pose and reach your arms all the way out to the front. Push your hips back to your heels. Let your belly soften in between your thighs. Spread your fingers nice and firm onto the earth. Pull the belly, the shoulders back and down. Try not to collapse too much into that upper back area where it feels really like very swoopy and but not really stable. On the inhaling breath, rise back up to your hands and knees. Keep your arms outstretched. Tuck your toes underneath you and lift your hips into a downward dog, but keep the knees bent. So make it very soft. Let your head hang down in between your arms. And just feel like walking the dog side to side. Move your hips from one side to the other. And then settle into this downward facing dog with your knees softly bent. Chest towards your thighs, let your head rest in between your arms. Breathe in, breathe out. Now let's just go ahead and measure the down dog to plank movement. So come high up on your toes, keep your knees bent, it's fine. And then shift forward, and as you shift forward, you can straighten your legs, but get your body parallel to the floor. Pull the belly up and in, bring the crown of the head toward the front, the tailbone towards the back. Resist the earth with your hands, pull those knees up. And then push back to downward dog. And this time it's up to you whether you want your knees bent or straight. Chest down towards your thighs. Come up onto your tiptoes. Engage your quadricep muscles, the front muscles of the thighs. Pull your knees up. Come forward to your high plank. That's the top of a push-up. Crown of the head reaches forward. Tailbone pulls back. Resist the earth. Feel the heel of the hand push down. And as you do that, there's a lift through the center of your body. Good. Let's go way back to downward facing dog one more time. Chest towards your thighs and your head. Good. This time, bend your knees, look at your hands, and take little steps forward. Make yourself or your way up to the top of your mat. 2 fists in between your feet will give you the width of your hips approximately. So take your hands there, bend your knees as much as you need to. Let your head come down. Shake it out, yes, shake it out, no. And if it feels good, you might want to do a couple of sways. And then here, let's just take the arms behind the back, interlace your fingers, and press the palms together, and let your head come down as the arms come up, and then maybe the legs straighten, maybe they don't. Pull your collarbones open, again, crown of the head down, tailbone up, inhale, and exhale. Feel the big toe, the little toe, the ball of the foot, and the heel evenly pressing into the earth. Keep your chin tucked to your chest, and let's roll ourselves up to standing. As you come up to the ceiling, or up to standing, roll your shoulders back and around a couple times. And then stretch your arms down by your side, spread your fingers, open them up. Open your toes in the same fashion. So lift your toes up, spread them apart, and then take them down to the floor. And again, press into the big toe and the little toe, the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot. And then tuck your tailbone under so you're not sticking your butt out. Kind of got this nice long spine, crown of the head reaches to the sky, collarbones pull forward. The legs are strong and active. Inhale the arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers above your head, lift out of your waistline. And let's just tilt to the right side, just enough to feel it. Don't go too far, don't come so far that you can't breathe or you can't make your way back up to center on the next inhaling breath. Come up. Up and over to the left side, exhale. Ground your feet, pull your shoulders down, collarbones open. Feel like you're pulling the right arm with the left. Come back to center, inhale, lift your heart up. And maybe do a little bit of a drop back. It's up to you how much you want to go there. And as you exhale, bend your knees and bring your arms by your ears and just come into, it's a short chair, it's not too deep, but the biceps are by the ears, the hips are back. Breathe in here. As you exhale, bring your hands back behind your back. Interlace your fingers if you can, one finger over, lengthen your spine, and then fold back over your legs, hang your head down. Spread the collarbones open. One more breath. Chin to chest as you roll up through your spine. As you come up to standing, just stay here with your arms together and let the arms pull your heart up and back so you've got that little bit of a back bend, and stay nice and strong into your legs. As you inhale, release your arms as you straighten your spine, bring them all the way overhead. Bring prayer back down to your heart, heel toe your feet together. Namaste. Inhale and exhale. Bring the arms down by your side. Roll your shoulders back and around. So find yourself grounded from the feet all the way through the center of the body, all the way up through the top of your head. Inhale, your arms raise up overhead. Exhale, fold through your center, hands to floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Empty the breath, exhale. Roll back up to standing on the inhale. Rise all the way up. Bring the hands to your heart center. Exhale and bring it in. Inhale, bring the arms up. Here we go. Exhale, forward fold. Hang your head down. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Let's do that halfway lift again. Inhale. Use your blocks if you need to. Step to a plank pose. If you'd like to drop to your knees or go down halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Roll through or you're on your belly. So it's an upward dog or a cobra. Stay here for another breath. Then roll over your toes, downward facing dog, hips up in the air. You can modify on your knees. You can skip the push-ups. You can add the push-ups. Breathe in and breathe out. Rise onto your toes, bend your knees, make your way to the top of your mat, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Rise up, inhale, stretch your arms all the way up overhead. Let's take it right back down to the center. To the floor, to the shins, to the blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step with the other foot if you'd like. Jump if you fly. And go halfway down your way. Roll over your toes, upward dog, or you're on your belly for low cobra. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Take a couple breaths here. Settle in, breathe in. And breathe out. Feel the breath moving down the sides of the body from like the underarms to the outer hips. Now rise up onto your toes, bend your knees, make your way to the top of the mat. Doesn't matter how you get there. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold down. Rise to stand, bring the arms with you overhead. As you exhale, take it right back down to the floor. Just one time, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, inhale. Exhale, flow through your Vinyasa. Step back, jump back, walk back. Skip it and go to down dog or child's pose. Hips up in the air. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Feel the breath spread across the body from side to side, from top to bottom. One more breath here. High up on your toes. When you empty, step forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to do this all one more time. So rise up to the top. Bring your hands to your heart center. Exhale. Last one, Surya Namaskar A. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, through your Vinyasa you go. Upward dog. You can skip the whole darn thing, or you can add to it. We're in downward dog or child's pose if you need it. Push your weight back out of your hands towards your heels. Good. Bring your feet to touch, and let's lift the right leg in the air, bend the left knee. So bend the left knee enough that your hips are squared while your right leg is in the air. And then straighten it and lower the leg so it's parallel to the floor. Your left heel presses towards the floor, your right heel presses back towards the back of your mat or whatever's behind you. Then bring the right knee to your chest, round and curl, look between your hands, step it through. Lower your left knee to the floor. Feel free to have your blocks nearby. Rise up onto your fingertips, bring your collarbones forward. Good. Now let's just go ahead and straighten the leg to whatever degree you can straighten it. Try to keep your toes down for the first couple times. Inhale, release, come back forward, bring your collarbones forward. Good. And then straighten the legs. Good, Joe. 2 blocks. 2 blocks are wonderful. If you don't have them, they are available now. Believe me, I just ordered some stuff last night. Rebend your front knee. Now keep this bend. Take your left hand inside, bring your right hand to your hip. Lengthen your spine. So before you make a twist, you find length in your spine, like we did in our seated positions. Twist to the right side. Right arm comes up. Stretch your arm to the sky. Breathe in. Now tuck your left toes underneath you, just for a moment. And then reach your right arm back towards your left foot. And if you want to, you bring that foot off the floor and get a huge hamstring cramp like I just got. Or, or you grab a hold of it. All right? I always get a hamstring cramp the first time I do this. So grab a hold of that foot if you'd like to. Breathe in 1 more breath. And as you exhale, release that foot with control. Right arm up. Right hand inside, right leg. Hug the right knee towards your chest, your shoulder. So you're not rolling off to the side here. Squeeze it in nice and tight. Now turn your left toes to the right side. And what happens is that hip wants to go with it. So draw it back to center. Right hand might be on a block. Left hand to your hip or up in the air. Or maybe you take even a half bind, reaching your right hand to your inner thigh. So whatever suits you this early in the practice, right? Big toe pressing down, but think about squaring off your hips, bringing that right hip towards midline. 1 more breath. As you exhale, left hand down. Good. Separate your hands 1 more time on either side of your foot. Tuck your left toes underneath you. And let's just find a downward facing dog. So step back, down dog, walk your dog from side to side. And then bring your toes to touching back of the mat. Lift your left leg in the air and bend your right knee. So bend your knee enough that your hips will still stay squared in this lifted position. And then as you begin to straighten the right leg, the left leg comes halfway down to stay squared. So flex the foot really strongly, like you're pushing the wall away. And then bend your knee to your chest, round and curl, pull the belly in, and then step your left foot in between your hands, lower your right knee. Breathe in and breathe out. So check out your alignment first. Knee over the ankle, and then you're not sitting on top of your right patella, right? You're just above the kneecap. And then begin to straighten the front leg, fold over. I really feel that hamstring cramp that I just had. Bend the knee again. Straighten the leg. Keep the toes down on the first couple. Inhale, rebend. 1 more time, straightening the leg. As you exhale, rebend. Hold here for 1 breath. Bring the left hand inside of the left leg. Turn your left toes to the right. Right arm comes up. We twist. Breathe. I know I did the opposite twist first, so I'll change it up. 1 more big breath. Right hand down. Good. Now take your left hand to your hip. Twist to the left side. Left arm comes up. Stacking shoulders ideally. Tuck your right toes underneath you. I don't usually get the cramp on this side. Let's see. Now if you'd like to, reach that left arm behind you and see if you can grab a hold of the foot. Anywhere. If you can't grab a hold of the foot, reach towards it. Right? So there's always something we can do. And then mind that left hip from sticking out and bring it back in. 1 more breath. Gently release it, hands on either side of the toes. Tuck your right toes underneath you and step back to a downward facing dog. Hips up in the air. Walk your dog. Option to take a vinyasa here. Come forward to a high plank. Look forward, go halfway down your way. Rise back up into an upward dog or cobra. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Breathe. Bring those feet back together. Rise up on that left foot. Right leg is up in the air, nice and high. Step it all the way through. Either lower to your knee or stay where you're at. Keep your hands on blocks or maybe even on your thigh. You might have to shorten your back leg in. If you do, go ahead as we straighten the front leg. Now this time, we're going to keep the hips squared again, but we're going to keep the toe down for the first one. Rebend the front knee, and then straighten the front leg, and this time let's lift the toes up, but pull that right hip back to midline. Square your body, square your shoulders, square your hips. 1 more breath, inhale. And as you exhale, rebend the knee. Take your right hand inside the right leg and mind that right hip. Keep moving it inward. Turn your left foot on its side. So same thing we did on our knee. Tuck the tailbone under and lift your left arm up. Breathe. Spread your fingers. Hug the knee to the tricep. So feel that engagement of the glutes in the right side. One more breath. As you exhale, left hand down. Separate your hands, turn your back foot. Right arm comes up, we twist in the opposite direction. So lift out of your torso. Make the move from the torso. Keep that hip drawing inward. That's the hard part. One more breath. Exhale, right hand down, downward facing dog, hips in the air. Walk your dog from side to side. Bring your feet together, left leg in the air, nice and high. Look between your hands and step it all the way through. Good, breathe in and breathe out. So settle in and notice what's going on in your body. Is that left hip pulling towards midline? How's that right leg? Is it strong? Or if it's on the knee, don't worry about that. But if it's not on the knee, you really pull it up like a nice, strong, firm plank leg. Now, straighten your front leg. Do whatever you need to do with your back leg. Shorten your stance. Put your hands on blocks. If your hamstrings are tight or just cramped up, you might need your hands on blocks or your knee's going to be a little bent. Inhale, rebend your front knee. And this next time, we're going to straighten the leg again. So come up, lift the toes up. Square your hips, breathe in, bring your collarbones forward. Inhale and fold as you exhale. Rebend your front knee. Take your left hand inside. Turn your left foot on its side, your right foot, on its side, and pull the left hip back towards midline. Right arm comes into the air, twist. Find some space. Think about the bottom part of your body more than the top part of your body. It's kind of obvious what we do on the top, but we forget about what's going on our underneath side. And that's where we want to draw up and in, keep that tailbone tucked under. As you exhale, right hand comes down, spin the back foot forward, left arm comes up, we twist. Hug the hips in towards your midline. Pull your heart forward, your crown of your head to the front of your mat. One more breath. As you exhale, step back to a downward facing dog, hips up in the air. Option for your vinyasa here. Flow through it, skip it, add to it. Your way, it's your practice. I'm just like a tour guide. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your feet together. Stretch your right leg in the air nice and high. Step your right foot through. Spin your back foot on its side for a warrior two pose. Left arm sweeps up and around, warrior two facing the left side of your mat. Look at your right hand, pull your left hand back. Straighten your front leg for a moment. Just stay here for a second. Notice that your left hip is kind of elevated, right? Now bend the knee, or let's not bend the knee yet. Let's just turn our shoulders and hips to the left side of the room and try to level off our hips a little bit more. Arms come out now. Rebend your front knee. So nothing changed here except I bent my knee, right? I didn't turn my shoulders and hips back to the front of the mat. I kept everything facing the left side of the mat. So settle in here again. Tuck that tailbone underneath you. Feel the grounding of your feet, big toe, little toe, ball of the foot. Now reach your palms up and reach your hand forward. Now the hips are going to come off a little bit. Left arm down, right arm up. And what I want to do is take my left hand to my left hip and guide it towards my right knee so that it becomes more of a side bend. And pull that right knee forward. One more breath. Inhale back to your warrior two. Adjust your shoulders, adjust your hips. Straighten your legs, lift your arms, lift your right toes, and turn them a quarter turn to the left. Open the arms and dive down in between your two legs. Hang your head. Lengthen your spine, look forward. Bring your collarbones towards the left side of your mat. And then fold your body in half, best you can, wherever you have to be. So it doesn't matter if you can touch your head to the floor or not, but if it does touch easily, good, Elaine, I can see a little bit of you. If it touches easily, shorten your stance. If it doesn't touch so easily, widen your stance. And then Bonnie, move your hands back a little bit towards your chest, towards your legs, and chest towards your thighs. There you go. One more breath in. Inhale, rise up onto your fingertips. Walk around to the front of the room. Bend your right knee, stretch your right arm up and open to the side. Shoulder stacking. Right hand comes down. Step into a plank. Hold the plank, not your breath. Either go back to downward dog or vinyasa through it. Upward dog, cobra, downward dog, child's pose. These are options. Right? You don't have to listen to anything I'm saying. And you can go on your own. You can go rogue. Bring your feet together, left leg up. Step your left foot through. Turn your right foot on its side. Windmill open to warrior two facing the right side of your mat. Back out of your front knee and adjust your hips. So that right hip is likely up in the air. We're going to square it off so that your shoulders and hips are facing the long side of your mat. Reach the arms out, rebend the knee, and that's all that changes. Good. Check out your knee. Make sure it's not rolling in. Line it up with your hip in line with your second, third toe, and that tailbone tucks underneath you. Breathe in. Inhale. And exhale. Feel the energy in the legs. Feel the strength in the supporting muscles around those legs. Good. It's okay if you come out of the pose and if you need to. One more breath. Now flip your palms. Good. Reach your front hand, your left hand towards the front of the room, as far out as you can. Mahika, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Try to get your left knee in line with your toes, in line with your hip a little bit more. Perfect. Okay. There you go. And reverse your warrior. So the right arm's coming down, the left arm's coming up. Now take your right hand to your right hip and just guide that right hip towards your left knee. So you lift up and out of your waistline. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale back to warrior two. Look at your left hand. Inhale, straighten arms and legs, lift your left toes up and spin a quarter turn to the right side of your mat. Bring your arms back behind you. Either interlace your fingers, wrists, forearms, elbows, or maybe you take a reverse namaskar, reverse prayer pose. If your shoulders are not open, that might be very challenging for you. Use blocks or straps or towels if you need to. Lift your chest up. It's like you're leaning your back against your hands if your hands are in prayer. And then lean forward, crown the head forward, tailbone back. Everything is parallel to the floor here. The knees are not locked out, so there's a little bit of weight shifting into the balls of your feet rather than your heels here. Take another breath and fold all the way over as much as you can, and then release your fingers onto the floor, lengthen your spine. And then walk your hands in between your feet so your fingers turn away, your chest pulls towards your thighs, and your head goes down. For some of you, you may be ready to go into a headstand here. So feel free to take a headstand, any variation that you do. Fold in half. Again, the weight's a little bit more in the balls of the feet here, so we're not hyperextending the knees. And then release your hands under your shoulders, lengthen your spine. Let's spin around to the front of the room, left knee bends, right hand stays in, left arm opens up, we twist. Pull that left hip back to center. One more breath. Left hand comes down. As you exhale, step back to a high plank. Breathe in. You make a decision. Do you want to do a vinyasa? You want to skip it? You want to add to it? You do you. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Those of you who are old enough to remember this with me, I always think of Sonny and Cher in this song, if you're on the same song as me. Bend your knees, chest towards the thighs. Now let's walk our hands to our feet back of the mat. However you get there, it doesn't matter. Rise up onto your fingertips, lengthen your spine. Fold your body in half. Take your two peace fingers on each hand and lift up your big toe. Wrap your fingers underneath. Bring your thumb between the fingers and the toes. As you exhale, elbows out to the side, head to the shins, and let go. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. One more breath. On the inhaling breath, lengthen your spine. Pull your toes one more time. Release your toes, bring your hands to your heart, and rise up to standing. Heel toe your feet together. Close your eyes, stand in Tadasana, nice and tall. Bring your arms down by your side. As you inhale, open your eyes, bring your right knee up. Good. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Bring your right leg back behind you. Fly in warrior three. Hips and shoulders are squared, toes point back. Bring it back in, inhale. Arms come up, extend the leg forward, square your hips. Exhale, Dandasana, right leg goes behind you, heart opens up, chest lifts, and now we do a little bit of a swan dive here. Inhale, bring your knee back to your chest, hands in prayer. Open the knee to the right side, have a hand on it, and place it where you need it, anywhere but your knee. And then pull your left hip in towards midline. Pull, so it's as if your foot and your hip were trying to meet in the same midline. Breathe in, beautiful, good. So, and if you fall out of it, you know, trees are meant to sway, so don't worry about it. If you have another variation of tree that you prefer to do, I encourage it. So if you take a half lotus, good, and open up your trees, Randy, yeah, breathe. One more breath. Good, bring your hands back to prayer. Bring your right leg forward, lift it up, and step it down. Separate your feet, hips width apart, fold back over your legs. And just sway, maybe grab opposite elbows and fold in. And then relax the arms and roll up like a rag doll, standing one more time. Heel toe your feet together. Bring your hands in prayer. Close your eyes, tuck your tailbone underneath you. Inhale. And exhale. Next inhale, open your eyes, bring your left knee up. Good. And then float the leg behind you, point the toes, square up your shoulders and hips, warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm falling out of it, so if you fall out of it, it's okay, come right back to it. Inhale, bring that knee back to the chest. Extend the legs, extend the arm. And then reach that left leg back. It's like you're a pendulum swinging. Hips open, chest drops down, back's a little bit arched here, right? So it's more of a back bend. One more breath. Inhale, hands to prayer, knee back to your chest. Open the knee out to the side. And take a hold of it, place it where you need to. If you don't need your hands, great. Pull that right hip towards midline. So it's like you're suctioning your foot against your inner thigh. And you're doing the same thing with your hands. If you want to float your trees up, whatever you do in your tree, make it active and make it work for you. Beautiful. That's it. Remember, there's all kinds of trees. A lot of them float in the wind. And then release your hands to your heart, left knee into your chest. Step down, separate your feet, hips width apart, and fold over. If you can remember, take the opposite grip of your hands. It's the one that's less familiar to you. It's the less habitual side. Inhale, release your hands in front of your feet. Lengthen your spine, climb to your fingertips. Walk your arms out one arm's length, so you're still on your fingertips, look forward. Exhale, walk it out again. Maybe your hands are down, palms down, heels may be down. Inhale and exhale, walk it out again. And keep walking till you're in a downward facing dog. Let's keep our feet as wide as the mat right now, so your pinky edges of your toes are on the edges of your mat. Inhale to a high plank. Pull the belly in, push the floor away with your hands. Option to drop your right knee to the floor or spin open in a wide stance, Vashisthasana side plank. Lift the bottom side of your body up just like we did before in our reverse warrior. You lift the bottom side up and in. One more breath. Exhale, hands down, body squared plank with wide legs. Push your hips to downward dog. Take your, if you need to shorten your stance, take your right hand somewhere on that left leg except your knee, and twist to your left side. Breathe in, and breathe out. Good, release the hand. You should be in your down dog if you need to adjust your size. Good. Come back to center, come back to plank. Resist the earth with your hands. Either bend your left knee to the floor or spin open with a wide-legged Vashisthasana. And think about this bottom side of your body lifting up and opening. One more breath. Good. Right hand down. Push back to downward dog. Shorten your stance if you need to. Left hand to the right foot, shin, or ankle. And look under your right arm. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Good. Bring your hands down. Step your feet a little closer to your traditional downward facing dog. Back hips width apart. Rise up onto your toes. Come forward to a high plank. And without bending your knees or elbows, just drop your hips to the floor. Relax your toes. Now let your knees come down. Not typically what we do in an upward facing dog. If this is still too much for you, go a little bit lower to your cobra. Lift your heart up. Pull through, shoulders down. Sit back to your heels and tuck your toes. Child's pose. Good. Stay here. One breath. Inhale, push forward again. Release your toes. And this is like just a hybrid pose, right? It's not quite an up dog, it's not quite a cobra. And then back to your heels, toes tucked under. Stretch it out one more time. So evening out our extensions with our flexions. Come forward, heart lifts, drop your toes, lift your heart all the way up. This time as you exhale, tuck your toes, bring your hips to your heels, keep your knees bent and keep your hips back, and then raise up into your downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Step the feet to touch, right leg in the air. Step it all the way through. Spin your left foot on its side. Just find warrior two for one breath as you exhale. Straighten your front leg. Shorten your stance if you need. Flip your palms. Remember, get the shoulders and hips now level. Move your hips to the back, left side of your mat, or the back side of your mat. Reach your right arm forward, forward, forward. Go until you can't go anymore, and then release the right hand down. Stack your shoulders. Now imagine that your left side of your, or the back side of your body is against a wall. Anything but your knees here, gang. Breathe. Reach the crown of the head forward. Heart opens up. Pull your knees up. Pull your heels towards each other. One more breath, look down. On the inhale, rise up, left arm down, right arm up. And pull your left hip, just as we did in reverse warrior, left hip towards your right hip. Our legs are straight here, that's all. Inhale, return, back to triangle pose. Right arm down, left arm up. You can stay here, or you can venture into a balancing work of Ardha Chandrasana. So the right hand comes forward or to the side. As you bend the right knee, lift the left leg up in the air, and stack your hips so it's like triangle with that left leg off the floor. So the same thing we did on the side. Lift the bottom side of your body up and rotate your top arm over your bottom arm. Hold on if you need to, that's fine. Nice, Elaine. Breathe. Good. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon balance. Anything you play with in this pose is fine. One more breath. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Soften your right knee. Return back one more time to triangle. Straighten the front leg. Lift all the way up, up, up. And now as you exhale, release your left hand down. Step your back foot forward a couple of inches. Square your hips and fold into pyramid pose. So we've done this in a longer length. Rise to your fingertips. Here's a good place for a block. Inside or outside of your left leg. Come up to your fingertips. Hands to your hips. Rise all the way up. Left arm comes all the way up. So as I lift up, I'm squaring my shoulders and hips to the front. I'm not on a tightrope, right? My left leg is out about hips width, maybe a little bit wider for some. Lengthen. And then reach forward and pull your hips square. Crown of the head forward. Reach out of your torso, then rotate to the right side. Right hand moves to the sacrum. Maybe you turn your entire shoulder stacking, your entire torso. Right arm comes up. Parvrita. Trikonasana. Triangle pose. Breathe. Twisted, revolved, triangle pose. One more breath. As you exhale, let's fold over that right leg and release. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Step your left leg back, step your right leg back, find your downward dog. If you want to take it through a vinyasa here, that's your opportunity to release. One more breath. We meet in down dog or child's pose. Good, feet together, left leg up. Left leg steps through, spin the right foot on its side. Come up quickly to warrior two, not quickly, but just for a moment, and then straighten the left leg. And again, that right hip wants to raise up, so I'm going to square my shoulders and my hips to the right side of my mat. Shorten the stance if you need to for triangle. Flip your palm, reach your arm forward and your hips back. Keep reaching out of your torso till you can no longer reach out of your torso. Then come down, right arm comes up. Stack your shoulders. Reach up with your right arm and down with your left arm, and then rotate your torso open. Pull your knees up, 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 nice and strong. So the foundation of our practice, standing poses, is our legs. Sometimes it's only one leg, so they need to be nice and firm. One more breath. Look down at your left toes. Rise up, inhale, reverse your triangle. Pull that right hip towards the left hip. Up and over. Inhale, come back up. Reach towards the front of your mat. Left arm down, right arm up. Triangle pose, you can stay. Or bend your front knee, bring your left hand in front or to the side. Right leg lifts up. Stack your shoulders, stack your hips. Cindy, I know you said you like Barbara. Got a couple of those in there for you today. Open your heart. Press your right hip on top of your left hip. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Don't get pissed off at yourself if you can't hold a pose. You come out of it, you come back into it. Tish, beautiful. One more breath. Good. Now gently, if you're up in the air, rebend the front knee, step back, and then straighten it for your triangle pose. Breathe in. And as you exhale, right hand comes down, square your body, so you're going to step your back foot in close enough that you can have both hips pretty squared. Shoulders forward and fold over your left leg. Pyramid pose, not too long, we're here. Inhale, lengthen, pull that left big toe to the floor. Bring your hands to your hips, so your heart come all the way up. Right arm comes in the air, left hand comes to your sacrum. And so again, keep everything squared, make sure you're not on a tightrope, but you're on train tracks, a little bit wider for some. I have to widen my legs these days. Lengthen out of your spine. Reach forward like you're gonna shake my hand, hello. Pull that left hip back, right hip forward. Reach, 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 then rotate. Right hand comes inside or outside of that left leg. Bring the crown of your head towards the front of your mat. Pull your left hip towards your right hip and stack your left shoulder over your right shoulder as that left arm comes up. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Release the breath, release the hands, fold over your left leg. Inhale. Look forward, step forward this time. Separate your feet as wide as your mat and drop your seat in between your heels. If that doesn't work, sit on a block, or maybe you're just in a squat for now. So my knees and my triceps are pulling together. I'm pushing and pulling at the same time. Tailbone tucks under, maybe you can get your heart open, crown of the head to the sky. You can stay right here, nothing wrong with it. Or you can bring your hands to the floor and practice getting into your crow pose. If you're not familiar with crow, hands come on the floor, hips come up. If you're new to crow, you can step on a block if you have it. So you can either hug your knees on the outside of your triceps, good Bonnie. Now bring your heels to your butt. Yeah, just try it. If you're not going into your crow, if you're going into crow and you're newer, again, just think about lifting 1 foot at a time. Doesn't have to be huge. And then come back down into your Malasana, that big squat. And yep. So let's see. Jane, do that again. Let me see if I can spotlight. Okay. Good. Bring your heels to your buttocks. Good. All right. All right, guys. Come back into your Malasana pose, that squat. That's beautiful. And then fold your arm or reach your arms forward and pull your belly in, round your spine, and then lift your chest up one more time. Your hips are close to the floor. If you're sitting on a block, just scoot it out and have a seat on the floor. Nicely, much nicer than I did. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let's keep the legs wider than our groin. So move your legs away from you. Bring your hands underneath your calves. Wrap them around forward. If you'd like, you can take a block and let your head rest on that block. Right? So you can make this a pretty yin pose right here. If you're on the floor and you need to adjust your cameras so I can see you on the floor, go ahead, a couple of you need to just adjust the cameras. All right, and then fold over. So this is going to be a pose where we're not trying to reach our head to our toes or our heels to our groin. We're just kind of releasing. It's letting gravity kind of do its job here and letting our body surrender to the earth. So let's take about 3 more breaths here. And then after you've released the last breath, just gently bring yourself up, release your hands from your feet, and then just shake your legs out in front of you. Bring your hands behind you, bend your knees, place the feet on the floor so your heels line up with your sitting bones, and lift your chest up, bring your knees forward, let your head drop back, only if that's comfortable for you. So stretch out the front of your shoulders. My girls yesterday from the bicep curls, you should feel those right now. And as you exhale, drop your seat to the floor, cross left leg in front of right leg, spin yourself forward, and step back to a downward facing dog. Last time, you don't have to get freaked out. We're not going to go do a whole new Vinyasa sequence here, unless you want to take one final Vinyasa and flow through it. When you've finished your down dog, bring your right knee on the floor underneath your hip. Bring the left leg behind your right leg and send your heels out towards the sides. So your right knee is in front. You're either going to come back and sit on the floor, and if you're like me and your hips are tight, that knee might be elevated, or you can sit on a block and your knees will come a little closer together as you level off your pelvis, right? And then just keep thinking about grounding the right hip to the floor. So even if you're very comfortably safe. Now, if you don't have any emotion in your hips right here, bring your feet a little bit wider and try to line up your heels with each other. And take the arms up over your head. We're going to take a twist here too. So bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale. Find length in the spine. Twist to your right side. And hook your left elbow outside your right thigh. Thumbs to your heart center. So here the tendency is to like kind of roll to your left side a little bit. So pull your right hip back down to the earth. Inhale. And exhale. Find nice slow breath, starting to slow it down a little bit more, but still finding some sweet release. One more breath. Inhale, rise back up to center. Bring your arms up overhead. And release your hands to the floor. Lift your hips up off the floor or the block. And then just stretch your left leg back, right leg back, plank. Breathe in, one breath. And then bring your right knee to the floor. Left knee behind, nope, let's bring the left knee to the floor, excuse me. Right knee comes behind it. Send your feet out to the side and have a seat on the floor or a block. Now, I mean, most of us are pretty familiar with our bodies, and you know that one side of your body doesn't do the same thing that the other side does, and I always say I feel like one side is an alien, complete alien to me, and the other side feels very much more comfortable. And those are the sides that we tend to go to. If I just said sit down in cow pose, you'd go to the side that's more familiar to you, or grab your arms, or whatever pose that we're in. It's our familiar side, it's our comfortable side, it's our habitual side. So that's why we try to do both sides. Bring your arms up overhead, inhale. Lift out of your waistline. Bring your hands to your heart center. Lengthen, 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 then rotate. Right arm hooks outside left thigh. And then we lift again. We lift that torso back up off of your thigh. Inhale and exhale. So keep thinking about pressing that left hip down to the floor. Right? Because again, the tendency is going to be to rock to your right side to release some of the tension. One more breath. This is the good tension we place on our bodies, not center, bring the arms up. Bring the arms down in front of you, shift onto your shins, step back, high plank, breathe in. As you exhale, let's lower all the way to the floor. Take a few vinyasas or push-ups if you really want to. And then bring your hands by your chest, bring your feet as wide as your mat, and just let your head come down for a moment. Take your fingers out to the side so you're in a T shape. Relax your glutes. Push your pubic bone down. Now keep your legs down and lift your chest up. Use your fingers to help you here. You don't have to go very high. And try not to move your neck, right? So try to keep your head in line with your spine. Keep that long cervical spine. Now raise the arms up and see if you can raise the legs up. You're in a wide stance here. Chest open, shoulders back. Reach your fingers out, reach your toes out. Lift a little higher from both directions. Exhale, bring your right ear to the floor. Turn your toes in pigeon toe and let your shoulders just drape open. Relax. Come back to center, forehead down. Legs wide, arms wide. Come to your fingertips. Inhale, lift your chest. Lift your arms and lift your legs. Now see if you'd like to take your arms behind you and bring your legs a little closer together and lift a little higher. See what you've got. Good, keep the crown of your head in line with your spine, so don't hyperextend that neck. Lift a little bit higher in both directions. And as you exhale, toes turn in, arms come down, left ear to the floor, just shimmy out your hips. And one more time, full Shavasana, arms out to the side, forehead together. This time bring your feet together. Inhale, upper body lifts, arms lift, legs lift. Breathe in, breathe out. Lift as high as you can. One more big breath, fly. As you exhale, come down, sit on your heels, child's pose with a wide knee. Walk your hands to the right, left hand on top of right, push that left hip down. It should feel really good as a release to your back. And then walk through center to the other side. Right hand on top of left, push the hips back to the heels. Inhale to center. Exhale, roll yourself to sit up. Swing your legs out in front of you. I'm just going to shift my mat position for you. And then sit forward with your legs in Dandasana staff pose. So flex your feet, lift your flesh, press down through your legs and your heels, arms down by your side, sit up nice and tall. Just gaze back, make sure you have enough room when we lie down, that your head will be on the mat. Inhale and exhale. Now, see if you can lift your arms up without changing your spinal position. Keep your legs nice and active. Then bring your chin to your chest and round your back. Pull your belly in like you got punched in the stomach. So you pull the belly in, round, round, round. Keep that action as you start to roll down slowly through your spine. Scoop out your belly. Big, big, giant C curve. When you get your shoulders to the floor, stay there. And flex the wrists so that the heel of the hands is reaching towards the arm, reaching towards the feet. If you need to, you put hands behind your head. One more long, long line. Breathe in. As you exhale, lower down. Release your toes. Arms open up, hips open up. Good. Just a short little Shavasana. One breath. And then bring your right knee to your chest. Pull the right knee offside to the right side. Take your left hand and guide it across your body for a twist. If you want more or less, more, bring your knee higher up towards your chest. Less, bring it a little bit straighter, maybe not go over so far to the left side. Take another breath. Return to your back, right knee into your chest. Let's bring the left knee to meet it and find a happy baby pose. Grabbing the bottoms of your feet, the big toe underneath the thighs, wherever it is that you want to hold on, and maybe rock on your spine. Make some circles. Right leg straightens out, left knee comes to your chest. Take the right hand and guide that left leg across your body for a spinal twist. If you want more challenge, bring the knee up a little higher. If you need less, bring it back, or even put a block under the knee. Come back to center, left knee to the chest. Right knee to the chest, hug the knees to the chest, round and curl your spine. Good, let's just do one more little back bend here. Hands on your ankles or your shins or the tops of your feet. Place the feet onto the floor. As you do that, your back arches, that could be enough for you. If you want a little bit more, tilt your pelvis so you point your pubic bone up. And then just start to peel your spine off the floor, holding onto your ankles if you can for the first full breath. Now, if you want anything else, bring your hands under your back. Maybe wrap your shoulders underneath you, that's fine. Maybe you want to block or your hands to support you, that's fine. Or maybe you take a full wheel, bringing your hands by your shoulders, fingers pointing in, and we come to the top of the head and lift all the way up. And any variation that you do for this final big extended spine, then you make that. Good. So there's nothing wrong. There's nothing, unless you are harming yourself or somebody else. If you're up in the air, head, upper, mid, lower back down. Last time, hug those knees back into your chest. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Take your legs up in the air. One more nice final stretch. Reach your hands to your feet. Head and shoulders lift up. And if you want, lift your hips up. So everything in that middle is contracted, but don't hold your breath here. Take 3. Not take 3, but take 3 breaths. One more breath. Head down, hips down, knees in. And if there's anything else you'd like to do before you find your final Shavasana, go ahead and take it. Whether it's another pigeon or headstand, handstand, forearm balance, or you're ready for Shavasana. Lay on your back. Let your hips open. Bring your arms by your side, palms open. Let your eyes soften. Gaze to the tip of your nose, inwardly. Allow the top of your head to completely surrender. So everything is melting into the earth. Scan your body from head to toe. Notice if there's any spaces that still feel tense. And if there are, just breathe into those spaces. And once again, take these final few moments of peace and meditation and be still. Respect this time of your practice because it's more important than the other 60 minutes that we just did. Let go, empty out. there, turn me off. If you're ready to come back, make your way back to some deeper breathing. Release your fingers and toes and make your way onto either side that feels right to you. And when you're ready, bring yourself up into a comfortable seat. Take the hands to your heart center and just embrace this practice that we've shared together. These 60 minutes of peace on your mat. You know, it's always a place that you can find some peace. So when the days get crazy, pull out your mat and just breathe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace to all. And now, as we bow down to each other, to the light, the beauty, the peace, the love within each one of us, Namaste, Satnam, go in peace. Have a wonderful Saturday. And for those of you at home, stay home, stay fit, stay healthy.